guys, Chris from Hockey Tutorial here, and today in this video we're going to be taking a look at the brand new AS5 Pros and VSing them against the AS3 Pros. I'm not really going to be reading out all of the different texts and specs that are in these skates, because at the end of the day, if you want that information, every website that sells these skates will literally break it down for you. What's in the liners, what's in the quarter package, all of the fancy tech names that are out there. I'm really going to be focusing on what's actually changed, what's new, what I've noticed having been bouncing between both of these two skates, and giving you a little bit of feedback about that. If you like this format, this slightly more laid back format to these videos, please let me know in the comment section, or if you prefer we go back to the studio look where it's a little bit more formal, also let me know in the comment section down below. But let's jump into the video. And of course, before we do so, if you haven't done so already, please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and also thumbs up the video, because doing so doesn't only help the channel to grow, it helps the YouTube algorithm find our videos so more people can see this content. So if you don't mind, thumbs up, and if you haven't done so, click subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of the awesome videos that we produce. Let's jump into the video. Now, as always guys, starting off with the base of the skates and then working our way upwards. When we look at the previous top spec, the AS3 Pros, these featured CCM's XS1 black blades, which in comparison to what we get now with CCM runners, which is step, they're completely worlds apart. Step is very, very high quality in comparison to what you get over here. It also sits much, much taller than what you get with the XS1 black. Now, these skates came with blades back when premium skates came with runners. That's not a dig at CCM, because we know other manufacturers are now doing the exact same thing. But make sure you comment down below and let me know what you think of that. Did you like it when skates came with blades, or do you not mind having to select a pair of blades after you've purchased some skates? Let me know. But these came with the XS1 black blades. Now, when we look at the brand new AS5 Pros, these actually don't come with any blades. After you've purchased the skate, you then decide which of the three step options you want to go for, which is the first one is going to be Steps V-Steel, which is that high polished blade, which is what you see on the skates currently. From there, it's going to be Step Steel's standard stainless steel blade, which is still going to be leaps and bounds ahead of regular stainless steel, because it's made by Step. It means that it's going to be that high quality. Now, it doesn't sound like that's a big deal, but I've done a lot of videos on runners where I kind of explain the difference between high quality steel and bad quality and what that results in. So if you want to watch that video, I'll link it down below. But the third and final option that you have in terms of runners with these is going to be Step Steel's black blade, which is that DLC or diamond-like coating, which has almost like a chrome mirror effect on the blade. It's not like these ones over here, the XS1 black, which are black blades. This is more of an oxidization that's been done to the blade versus a diamond-like coating, which is something completely different. It doesn't scratch off. It has like a very chrome, highly polished look that has better edge retention, better durability. It's just an all-round better performing skate blade. And in my opinion, if you're buying a premium skate, you might as well get a premium set of blades with it. But for me, personal preference, Step is actually a little bit too tall for me. I prefer Blade Tech for numerous reasons. If you want to see a video about blades, I'll link that down below. But that's just kind of highlighting what you get with these skates when you're purchasing them. These ones came with runners. These ones you select them after purchase. Now, when we move up into the holder of both of these skates, they both feature CCM's XS holder, which is that holder that has that dial that allows you to switch out the steel or the blades, whatever you want to call them, without having to use a tool. So that's a big deal. It means that you can change out your blades if you want to have spares, so you don't have to get your skates sharpened frequently. You can just switch the blades out when they get dull. Or of course, if you break a runner or a blade, you can switch it out very quickly. Now, when we move up into the quarter package, the first thing that you're going to notice is the two different designs. Now, I've heard a lot of mixed feelings about the brand new AS5 Pro design, but the same thing was said when the AS3 Pro design was first unveiled. So let me know which one you prefer the look of. I definitely like the brand new look. I just feel like even if somebody was looking at these two skates and didn't know anything about hockey, they would probably lean towards the AS5 Pros being the newer and more modern looking skate versus what we see with the AS3 Pros. But that, of course, is just my personal preference. Let me know in the comments which design you prefer the look of the most. But one thing I will mention in the department of looks, we have a video coming out on the customization that you can do to the skate. We actually flew out to Sweden. We went to Stockholm to hang out with CCM, and we filmed a video showing you all the custom options that you have when you're picking out a pair of custom AS5 Pros. That video is going to be coming very soon, and I'm also going to be comparing a pair of retail AS5s and putting them up against a pair of custom AS5s to see what the real difference is in terms of feel, performance, all the specs that you get. That video is coming very, very soon. But when we move on to the other points about the quarter package, both of these skates are actually the exact same stiffness. On CCM's stiffness index, these skates rank as 215. So neither of the skates is stiffer than the other. You can expect similar performance out of that. But one thing that you do note when you look at the actual body of the skate, the boot, aside from, of course, the new design looking incredibly great, when you look at the facings around the eyelets on the AS3 Pros, they was essentially nothing. It was just the carbon composite, carbon fiber boot, no facings, no non-performance components. But when we look at the AS5 Pros, a lot of the facing materials have been reintroduced into the skate. This is something that I'm going to touch on in the custom video with a little bit more detail, but I just thought I'd point that out. Something else that's been reintroduced on the AS5 Pros is going to be vamping, which is the reinforced guard, or you could say the polymer that sits roughly about where your forefoot begins, in this sort of area over here where the skate would be coming into contact with the ice when you're turning tightly. These skates feature step steel, which means you're going to be sitting higher than you would if you were in the XS1 black blades from CCM, which means you're going to be able to get a little bit deeper and tighter into your turns. So CCM have actually reintroduced vamping, which was something that we saw removed from the AS3 Pros. If you look in this kind of like highway area on the skate over here, there's no vamping, there's no reinforced plastic to stop the body of the skate from scraping the ice. But with the AS5 Pros, that's been reintroduced. And another thing that's definitely worth mentioning is you're going to hear the word power referred to a lot when you're looking up the AS5 Pros. The quarter package or the boot is actually referred to as a one-piece boot power. That's something you're going to hear reoccurring with this skate. Of course, this is aimed at the power skaters. So those hockey players that like to take big, powerful strides. That's not necessarily saying you have to be a massive 6'5" hockey player. It's just anyone that skates very aggressively, takes those deep, long, powerful strides, or wants a skate to be as stiff as possible to support their performance on the ice. Out of the 3 different families of skates that CCM offers, this is going to be the stiffest one. But of course, we're going to touch on that a little bit more as we move up into the rest of the skate. Now, when we look at other areas that have changed, when you move towards the neck of the skate, you're definitely going to see a big improvement around the neck of the skate, like I like to refer to it as. The comfort wrapping or padding around the neck of the skate on the AS3 Pros, it wasn't bad. When you compare it to the previous generation, it was a step up. But when you look at the AS5s, it is a massive, massive difference. These things basically have cushions around the high neck area of the skate, which is brilliant. So if you're turning aggressively, skating without socks, these are going to be much more comfortable than what you might have experienced previously. So that's definitely a one-up. Another big change, and this is probably one of the reasons why these are actually the skates that I'm using right now, is going to be the tendon. This is CCM's PowerFlex tendon, which doesn't sound like it's a big deal, but when you compare it to the previous generation, which was a fixed tendon, the brand new AS5 Pros have a flexible tendon, which is a massive deal. Going back to the days of the Mako skates, the MLX skates, more recently I've been using the ultrasonic skates from Bauer because of the flexible tendon. I find fixed tendons for my skating style and the way that I like to skate are very restrictive. It's why I've been in the ultrasonics for as long as I have, and it's why I've now moved into these ones over here. Having that flexible tendon allows you to get so much deeper into your strides. If you're the type of skater that really leans over your knees, you like to get low, you like to skate aggressively, you like to turn tightly, a flexible tendon allows you to get a greater range of motion in your skates, which means you're going to be more maneuverable on the ice. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that these skates are going to allow you to skate faster than these skates, because I've heard some videos say that online and that's just not true. That really comes down to the skater and if a fixed tendon benefits your style of play and skating versus a flexible tendon. That's a completely separate argument. But if you're flat out wondering if these are going to give you a better range of motion, if these are going to be a much more comfortable skate, and are they better than the previous AS3 Pros, if this is something that you're looking for with that flexible tendon, 100% they will be. For me, this is a very big game changer, and I'm very pleased to see CCM introduce it. And of course, before we go away from the body of the skate, we don't want to miss out the toe cap. When we look at the AS5 Pros versus the AS3s, what CCM have done is they've introduced an asymmetrical toe cap. It's just a little bit better form fitting. It's lower profile, as the name suggests, which means less negative space. That essentially means that the skate's just going to be able to reduce the amount of unwanted room inside the skate, giving you a closer fitting skate, which is going to result in a better performing skate. Next up from there, we're going to be looking at the tongues on both of these skates. Both skates feature CCM's XS tongues. Now, in terms of what you get when you buy these skates, the previous tongue that we saw with CCM's was a pretty generic tongue, 7mm felt. But when we look at the brand new one, it's still essentially the same thickness, but it is much wider. You can actually see how asymmetrical the tongue is on the brand new AS5 Pros. It's, in my opinion, been slightly exaggerated. I feel like the tongue is a very great performing tongue. Having used both of these skates, It's very thin, and because it has that D3O layer in it, it's not only going to help you with impacts, it really helps you with lace bite as well. You don't really feel the laces when you're leaning over the skates. Flexible tendon means you're going to be able to get deeper into your strides, so the tongue definitely supports this new construction that the skate has very well. My only complaint with the tongue is that I find it's quite wide and sometimes does slip to the sides. I actually personally preferred the tongue that was on the AS3 Pros, but the great thing is it has the access tongue system, which means I can literally just take them off of this skate and put them straight onto this one, which is a very, very big advantage. The excess tongue means that if you want to get a more protective tongue or a thinner tongue or a tongue that has D3O or one that doesn't, or you're trying to increase or reduce the amount of volume inside the skate, you can do that by switching out the tongues, which is a massive, massive bonus. So I do love the new tongue that's on the AS5 Pros. I just find that it's a bit too wide and kind of sometimes slips down the sides, whereas the one on the AS3s kind of sat exactly where I wanted it to sit. Now, when we take a look at the liners of both of these skates, now these both being premium skates, CCM is utilizing their premium liner, which is the Total Dry Pro Plus liner. Both the skates feature that. It's going to be that moisture wicking material that's soft to the touch, it's great at managing heat and getting rid of moisture, filtering it out through the perforation at the base of the skate, keeping you cool, keeping you dry, hopefully meaning that the skate doesn't take on any unwanted weight in the form of sweat or water. No, there's no real changes there, but what you do see branded all over the inside liners of the AS5 Pros is Polygen. It's literally everywhere inside the skate. What is that and what does that do? Now, firstly, what Polygen is it's essentially a antimicrobial silver salt. It's not a nanoparticle and it's not something that's going to wash out of the skates as they get wet and dry and get wet and dry repeatedly. What it effectively does is it helps to combat odor-causing bacteria at the source. So in conjunction with the liners that are already in there, those premium liners, Polygen is going to help to keep the bacteria from building up inside the skate so it doesn't smell over time. Skates aren't something that we can wash, so having premium material liners with features like Polygen that are going to help to combat that bad bacteria and that bad odor inside the skates means that you can just get on with using your skates without having to worry about them smelling so badly so quickly. So that's definitely a nice upgrade, and it's not actually something that's made by CCM. It's a completely separate company, so it's nice to see them incorporating that the exact same way they did with the D3O. Them partnering up with different brands and different companies out there to give us the most refined product that they can give us to date is always appreciated. As always, guys, a big thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. Please let me know what you thought about this type of format, if you preferred it to the way that we did these types of videos previously. Comment down below and let me know what your opinion is. If there's any other skates you want us to feature, of course, the Bauer Mark skates or Max skates, that's definitely happening. We've just kind of been taking our time with that one a little bit, but we are going to be producing that video, so hang tight, it is coming. If there's any other skate videos you want to see, please comment down below and let us know. But before you go, please make sure you thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of the videos that we post, and I'll catch you in the next one.